Terry, the energy coach, asked Jamie whether he loved Erana. Do you think he loves her?
I do, but I just think that there's a problem with how it manifests itself.
Okay.
Well, we'll see.
We'll get into it.
For sure. Welcome to Cliff Alert. Today we're going to be talking about OWN Network's reality-based TV series, Love and Marriage, DC, Season 1, Episode number 8.
And today we will be focusing on Jamie and Erana. But before we get into it, please like, share, subscribe, and send us your comments. Because the dynamic between Erana and Jamie and the energy coach already telling them that they're trying not to deal with the shadows in their relationship is a good topic to talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
During this episode, we see Jamie had an event at the CIAA
basketball tournament
in Baltimore.
Yes, indeed.
And that the entire family showed up with him, or some of them.
Good to see Jason out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Erana talking to Tasha, Monique, and Ashley at a table about winter. And Jamie probably was tired of hearing the conversation.
Yeah, because,
and he probably wanted to get into the event itself.
Yeah, the function.
And he tried to get Erana's attention.
Yeah, because she got kind of heated in the back and forth between her and Tasha.
Right.
About, what transpired between her and Winter.
Right. And I know from personal experience, women get together, they talk a lot. It glazes a man's eyes over. He just wants to keep it moving.
Preach!
he just don't want to hear about that stuff. So Jamie, because I've seen that sort of energy Jamie was putting out before.
Come on, wifey, with the truth.
So he's trying to get her attention. And instead of what Brother Man here usually does is like he starts moving in a circular direction just to make eye contact with me. When I see him moving and trying to get eye contact, that's a signal.
That's a signal.
Time to get out of here. I've had enough. Jamie is trying to get his wife's attention.
Yeah, and
instead of, like touching her or what have you, he takes her face and turns it to him as if she's 5 years old.
Yeah, that was patronizing.
In a group.
Out of line.
It was completely disrespectful.
Condescending, rude.
It goes back to last week when he came out of the club and she rolled up trying to find a parking space, and he started screaming at her outside, and people were watching. Yeah, so that tells me that this brother has no problem with disrespecting her in public.
With how he comes across to his wife. Yeah.
The confessional, they're dressed to the max.
They were clean.
I mean, everything that Jamie does, even with a meeting at the Bar 1 situation.
Yeah, well, when the fellas were chopping it up and all that, yeah.
Everybody was casual. He came through with a suit on, with a pocket square. He did say that nobody told me about the dress code. So everything gotta be perfect, because that's one of Erana's issues. Yeah. Perfection. They meet with Terry. And Terry is sitting down with them, and she sits back in the cut and she watches how they interact with each other. She noticed, like we do, that there's a level of disrespect that goes on between them, and that Jamie sometimes have an issue with listening to what Erana is saying.
Yeah, and she also mentions too that there's this issue that she seems to sense or feel like is coming from Jamie, resistance to feminine energy, coming from women, and that she kind of senses that in their relationship.
Right. She says he seemed to have a problem with feminine energy, and she told them that they were fake.
Fakeness
that
between
there
them.
Is something else happening in their relationship, but they present another
this facade
of what actually is.
Yeah. And they've been doing that for the length
And
of their
they
marriage
needed-
for 20-something years or something like that. 26 years.
26 years.
Yeah.
And we find out too that something happened. The mother in the household, either she left Jamie with his father.
Right.
That mother bond was gone by the time he was 8.
Because he went to live with his father, and that was
he
kind of
lived
like 7,
with his
right?
father until he moved in with Erana.
Exactly.
So this man had no time to find out who he is as an adult person,
Right.
or how he connects with people. Erana is it.
Yeah.
And if Erana and Jamie both are broken people and they get to each other, he trying to establish who he is as a man is going to mimic what he saw his father do.
Yeah, because I believe that they were married at an early age or something
Yes,
like that, and
yes.
and it just there was no transition period for him.
Right. And he said his father was harsh, a harsh man. Jamie sometimes come across as being harsh.
Right.
He may have some softness behind it, but certainly he doesn't let that through.
Yeah, that's why I was saying earlier that I think that he does love her. It's just that the way it manifests itself, within the context of their relationship is maybe confusing to maybe Erana and a whole lot of other people. He needs to get out of the way and let her do that.
A woman can only be herself if she's strong enough and she likes herself a whole lot to be her authentic self, far and above what other people think of her.
So you think there may be that issue with Erana at this point?
Yes.
I think there's
as beautiful as she is,
yes.
When she looks at herself, she sees something different.
You're right, because I'm thinking about what we were talking about off camera about that appointment to have a butt lift or whatever the week before,
right?
Or episode prior to. She doesn't. I don't understand why she feels like she would need that. I don't understand.
But beyond that, if she wants that, okay,
right?
Sure.
Because that's what she said she wanted.
But even in the confessionals,
right,
they're dressed to the max. There's not a hair out of place.
Right, she's fine just the way she is.
I just wonder whether Jamie affirms her.
Yeah, that's something that I was thinking about as well.
That you can't rock with the wig all the time. The man got to see what your kitchen looks like.
The kitchen back there.
He got to be able to tweak that.
Yeah.
He got to be able to put his hands through the stuff.
Right.
And do what he needs to do.
Right.
You could show up how you are because you are in love with yourself.
Right.
And
that's enough.
And it's enough.
That's enough.
If you the man only likes you when you have the right makeup on.
You're all dolled up and all that. Right.
The nails done, the hair in place.
Right.
You're just giving him a full representation of who you are rather than what all this is.
Right. Yeah.
Erana needs to fall in love with herself.
Right.
Jamie needs to do the same thing and affirm who she is.
Yeah.
And he's got to stop disrespecting her, because I don't even think he understands that he's disrespecting her.
Yeah, that's probably on point. It's okay for her to be her authentic self, and you just got to check yourself and get out of the way. Allow that to happen.
Right.
I just think that he doesn't necessarily know how to deal with that
right.
Component.
Look at Ashley.
Yeah.
Ashley talks about quick needs 2 hands to deal with a big ass. Do you understand you see how different that relationship, dynamic is?
Absolutely.
Completely different.
Absolutely. Ashley and Quick are, in a different place, different space, with their relationship.
Jamie and Erana got married when they were young.
Right. When they didn't have a chance to understand who they were, like you said earlier.
And now is the opportunity to work with someone like Terry or someone else to get back to who they are. Because underneath that, Jamie hasn't figured out that he's an awesome brother.
Yeah.
That he's a great father, that he's a great husband.
Yeah.
He may be doing the actions of but he got to know for himself who he is.
And I think he was a little hesitant and
He
resistant.
was.
By the end of it, there was some pretty good revelation coming from Terry.
Anybody who has been entrenched, and I'm talking about me personally, once you have to pull off that mask, you're gonna fight like hell to keep it in place. But ripping it off is exactly what you gotta do to get to that beautiful self. It is gonna be painful,
but at the same time, it heals up, and once air gets to it and time gets to it, and it heals. I agree with you. Jamie's doing the right thing. There's some things that he's got to work on, some issues to unresolved, albeit issues nonetheless that have not been dealt with, and that continue to move with him down the road in his relationship with his wife.
You have to find out who we are, how hurt we are, how damaged we are, and start making the adjustments and getting the skill set to become better people, because we can't move around this big fantastic world hurt people, because we are then gonna hurt people.
Absolutely. 0.0 meeting with Terry was good for both of them. Have tools and used to repair what the damage that's been done in the past, to move forward in a better place, a better space as a unit.
Perfection.
Yeah, is there any such thing?
Perfection is
a myth.
A myth.
An ideal.
It's a myth. It's full duggery. And we've all been played. Every last one of us who go towards perfection, we have been played.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with striving to be your best self, but there's no such thing as it's an ideal. It's perfection.
But you see, the best self, the negative part of that best self makes up you being the best self. That's part of it too.
Yeah.
We thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. We thank you. Please send us your comments regarding this subject. We all could fall in love with ourselves.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean to be selfish, but to have a joy and love for yourself. And when you see yourself in the mirror, you could say, hey, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Absolutely. See y'all next time.
Bye-bye.